Hello, Ben. How are you? Can you hear me okay there on Zoom?
Yep, I can hear you, Bo.
Fantastic. Thanks for that. Commissioner Bonwell, welcome.
Hi, is that Bo?
It's Bo, yeah.
Okay, hi. Staff person Ayad, is that how we address you? I don't have a copy of the agenda. I'm just making a copy. And hi, is it Ben? Is that right?
Yes, hi.
Hey, it'll just be you tonight?
It will. Julie's on vacation. It's spring break time, so she's in Florida, and next week I will be on vacation because of spring break.
Yeah, it's crazy. We just went to New Orleans. I'm still traveling. I'm not back yet. And we're in the corridor and all that. And boy, is spring break ever happening.
Yep.
Yeah. Not why I was there, but
Are you guys seeing the agenda document on my shared
yes,
screen?
yes.
Yes.
And I see us on the side.
Great.
Bo, when I take roll call, are we going to acknowledge people on Zoom as well? I kind of think it would be good to be
I
able
agree. That would be
to
great.
do it. Okay, because that's been one of the things. It just hasn't been, we haven't documented. And then I think people need to, if they have, Robin's Roost or whatever, their cabin, they need to say who they are. We need to introduce, I guess, or something. Okay, and Bo, if for some reason I don't have the agenda in front of me and I need help, I'm gonna ask you to help me. Is Becky gonna be present this evening?
She is present right now, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Check.
I'm gonna have to have you help me. It is 7:30 and I'd like to call the meeting to order.
Commissioner Bonwell, we actually have 6:30 here.
Oh,
Yeah,
6, is that what
Time
I,
difference.
pardon me, 6:30, excuse me. And I would like for one of the staff to perform the roll call because I can see no one.
Yeah, there's something going on with my camera. Fortunately, the screen share is working, but I'm
Okay,
a little bit puzzled about why it's not sharing with the room. I'll call each commissioner and please just respond with here, and we'll do roll call for who's here in the room. Commissioner Fry. Here. Commissioner Blasey.
Here.
Commissioner Esch.
here.
And we have Commissioner Bonwell on Zoom.
Okay. So that I think would serve with our tech check. I could hear everyone, if you can hear me.
Yeah, besides
Yeah.
besides the camera in the room being a problem, everything else seems to be working fine.
Okay. All right, so I'd like to, this is just reiterate, this is a special planning commission meeting on Tuesday, March 19th. In person and Zoom, on Zoom. I am present, also our planning commissioner consultant, Ben, and Ben, I'm sorry, your last name.
Thurston.
Thank you.
Thurston, yeah.
Thank you. And the rest of the planning commission team. Are there, so I might like to move to number 2 on the agenda. Are there additions, deletions, or corrections to the agenda this evening?
So Commissioner Bonwell, I'd like to propose adding an item 7, just based on last week's discussion. We had talked about planning ahead for our next meeting. And so I look at the second Tuesday of April is April 9th. And so I'd like to add an item 7 for our next placeholder for the meeting, April 9th at 6:30.
So, okay, I think that's fine. That is the plan. April 9th is our next meeting at 6:30.
I move to approve the agenda with the addition of item 7.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, we're gonna go to number 3, open the room to public comment. And this would be for items not on the agenda, not, if there's anyone in the public that would like to comment about other topics. It appears that we don't have any public comment. So I'm going to go to number 4. We're going to now open the public hearing at 7:34 p.m. regarding conditional use permit at 10325 West Highway 24. Thank you, Ben. Proceed.
Yep. Thank you to the chair and to the commission. I will share my screen if I can. Am I able to share my screen, Bo?
Sure thing. One sec. Let me adjust that. Should be good to go.
Yep, I'm doing it now. Okay, can everybody see that?
Nope.
Yes.
Give us just a moment here in the room, Ben, please.
Okay. You still can't see it?
It's not popping up onto our, it's not doing screen mirrorings. Just one moment, please.
Okay.
Should be good to go. Thank you, Ben.
All right. This will look very similar. It's just a week later. We just went through this. So this is last week we handled the Green Mountain Falls Horse Wellness Meadow major site plan. This is the conditional use permit, and you might remember that one of the conditions of approval that you all put on the major site plan was to approve this conditional use permit. So that's why we're here tonight. The request is the conditional use permit to develop a horse wellness facility, which is classified as an animal shelter under the code. Background is the same, just added in that the major site plan was conditionally approved by the Planning Commission on March 12th. These maps, you know where the site is, you know it better than I do. So, you know that the site's large and there's a relatively small portion up at the north end that's actually being used for the facility. View of the from street view from Highway 24 of the site, and this is that north end of the property. So for the land use review, it's classified as an animal shelter based on the definition in the code. And that is a facility that is operated for the purpose of providing for and promoting the welfare, protection, and humane treatment of animals, that is used to shelter at least 10 animals in a year, and that is operated by a government entity, Humane Society, Animal Welfare Society, Animal Rescue Group, or other nonprofit group. You might remember from last week and from the staff report, the animal shelter is not currently a permitted or conditional use within the open space district. So there's two actions that need to happen. Only one of them is on your agenda tonight. The two things that need to happen are, number one, to amend the land use code to add animal shelter as a conditional use in the open space zone district. That code amendment will come to you in a future meeting. So we're doing things a little bit in reverse. Apologies for that unconventional way that we're doing this. Then the second thing is what you have on your agenda tonight: to approve a conditional use permit to approve the proposed animal shelter use on the property. The comprehensive plan review, this was from last week as well. We find that the proposed land use is consistent with goal 3.4.1. Policy A, to support development that enhances a sense of community and is compatible with the surrounding land uses, the natural environment, and the community's expectations, as well as policy C, encourage development along Highway 24 that is appropriately scaled and is in keeping with the uses desired by Green Mountain Falls residents. Public notice for tonight's hearing was provided in accordance with section 12-52H. And then our findings. These are the general approval criteria that apply to all applications. And these are the same that you saw last week. We find in the affirmative on all of them, and all for the same reasons as outlined in the staff report. The second group of findings, there are a few applications in the code that have additional criteria, and conditional use permits is one of those. So these are these you did not see last week because they don't apply to a major site plan, but they do apply to a conditional use permit. And so A, be consistent with the purpose and intent of the zoning district in which it is located. The open space district, according to the code, is to preserve a regional green belt of open space land, protect and restore the natural environment, and provide opportunities for public recreational enjoyment and education. And so we find that the proposed horse wellness facility is definitely in keeping with all of that, and is therefore consistent with the intent of the open space district. B, be generally consistent with any related use specific standards. We find this one to be not applicable because the land use code does not include any use specific standards for an animal shelter. There are a handful of uses in the code that have some use specific standards. Those are outlined and detailed in the code, and animal shelter is just not one of them. So we find that to be not applicable. C, be compatible with adjacent uses in terms of scale, site design, and operating characteristics. We find that the proposed use to be compatible with adjacent uses, and if there are any future nuisances or incompatibility that comes up later, that could be addressed with the application of Chapter 6, Health, Sanitation, and Animals in the Green Mountain Falls Municipal Code. And then D, provide adequate assurances of continuing maintenance. There's nothing in the application that provides that assurance, but I'm sure the applicant would be willing to speak to that. and provide assurance of ongoing maintenance. Any future maintenance issues would be addressed through the enforcement of the Green Mountain Falls Municipal Code. And so our recommendation, we recommend that the Planning Commission recommend to the Board of Trustees to approve with conditions this conditional use permit for the development of a horse wellness facility at 10325 West Highway 24. The conditions we're recommending, number one, which is really mandatory, the proposed animal shelter use must be established in the Green Mountain Falls Land Use Code as a conditional use in the open space district. And then number two, this was on our list before, and we wanted to take another crack at it because we do think that grading, drainage, and erosion control is an important issue. The town engineer has reviewed the site plan and does have some comments, and we would like to get those comments addressed and resolved. And so we're adding this condition to address referral comments from the town engineer regarding grading, drainage, and erosion control prior to the issuance of any grading or building permits for the development of this use. And that's all I have for you. I have a slide up that says questions, but I would suggest that you take any public testimony, close the public hearing, and then if you have questions, I'm certainly available. Thank you. Oh, Commissioner, you are muted still.
Whoops. Thanks, Mr. Thurston. I'd like to, at this time, to invite our applicant to make any comments if present.
Jesse Stroop, 10770 Florence Avenue. Nothing new here other than I will comment on the grading questions from Kiowa, which are reasonable and are being worked through with my site engineers now. So I don't. I'll stand on our reputation of the way that we maintain our properties. And I think you all know that it will be kept impeccably. Happy to answer any questions.
There's no further comment or questions. I'd now like to ask our town staff to speak if they've received any petitions, appeals, or other concerns.
I've received no concerns or petitions. Thank you.
All right, then I'd now like to open for any public comment.
We do have one in the room.
Brandy
Nice.
Morales.
Okay, sorry, and I assume it's a 3-minute length of comment?
Yes. Brandy Morales, 6970 Howard Street. I think this is a wonderful thing to bring back to our town. It brings us back to our roots when we used to have horses here. And I very much think it'll help bring our community together. And there's a lot of people that are looking forward to volunteering. And I think this is a very worthwhile cause. Thank you.
Any other public comment?
None else from the room. And we do have one citizen on Zoom, but looks like no public comment on Zoom.
Okay, thank you. And staff, no further comments? Is that correct?
No further comments. Just wanted to add though that if recommended to the Board of Trustees at your decision tonight and the Board of Trustees approves it at their meeting, we do have a draft ordinance ready to go through the publication process and get before you as soon as we possibly can.
Okay, great. I'll now close the public hearing at 7:46 p.m. and open the business portion of our meeting for discussion. And so any of the commissioners would like to make a comment, please proceed.
Well, this is Mike. I've looked at the renderings that they did of the buildings and the facilities, and I'm an old farm boy and we never had a barn that looked that nice. I compliment you on the design and the cleanliness of the look with the fence and the buildings and the grass and everything. I think it's gonna really add to the community. And I likewise think having some horses around is a good idea. My wife is a lifelong horse person, and I'm sure she'll be up there volunteering. I totally support you.
Commissioner Fry, do you have any concerns about the two actions that have been recommended? We'll need to amend the land use code in the future, and then for the applicant to address the drainage issue.
No, I have no concerns about either one.
Okay. Commissioner Esch?
Yes, I'd like to also agree with what Mike said and what Brandy said. I used to ride horses here a long time ago when I was a little girl. And I'm just delighted that the horses are coming back. And when my grandchildren and great-grandchildren, I now have 4 great-grandchildren, they'll be here. They may not be ready this summer, but it would be wonderful if they are. And I'm just very excited. I love horses too, and I think it's a wonderful effort and it's a beautiful facility. So I'm in favor, and I have no reservations, just like Mike. I think it's very well done.
Okay, and Commissioner Blasi?
I have nothing to add.
Fantastic. So we have like 6 minutes, I think, to complete the business section of the meeting. So I would entertain a motion to make a recommendation to the board for approval or not of this application.
Okay, I move to approve the conditional use permit with the 2 conditions noted in the staff report.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, great. I'm assuming no other discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. So passes unanimously. So that will be our recommendation to the board this evening. And I think that's all completes the business portion of our meeting. I will note again that our next regular meeting is going to be at 6:30 on April 9th. We'll resume conversation of our previous topics, and we will now adjourn at 7:50 p.m.
Commissioner Bonwell, I'm showing 6:50 here.
Oh gosh, 6:50. Thank you.
Thank you.
I am in another zone, obviously.
My blood pressure doubles every time. I'm like, oh,
Oh, I'll be glad. I'm coming home tomorrow. I'll be glad to get back into the right zone.
When you see the snow drifts, you won't be as glad to be here.
Oh,
think you are.
I know I've missed something important. All right.
Yeah.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
good night.
I don't know where she's at. No.
See her in the next room.